Hi everyone, I'm Sophie and welcome to my channel. I wanted to do a video where I talk about the books that I've read so far of 2024 and tell you if they're worth to read or not. I have all of my books logged onto Goodreads. If you would like to add me on Goodreads, the link will be in the description. I edit it as soon as I finish a book. I don't really edit it while I'm reading because I just feel like that's too much work. But I like to follow along with the accomplishments. So Goodreads has like a reading challenge each year. And I think my goal this year is to read 30 books. So it'll tell you if you're on track or not with that. So the books I'm going to be talking about, there is a mixture of audio and physical books and ebooks, because if a book is cheaper on my Kindle, then I'll get it on my Kindle, and if it's not, then I'll just get the physical copy. I'm also looking at my laptop in case you're wondering what I'm looking at. I've read 10 books so far, and then here's my 2024 reading challenge. This is you probably can't see, but I've read 10 out of 30 books so far, and it's the beginning of March, so it says I'm 5 books ahead of schedule, which is pretty amazing. So the first book that I finished in 2024 is one that came over from the end of 2023, and that is Wish You Were Here by Jodi Picoult. So this book I listened to. I rated it 4 stars whenever I finished it, but if I could go back, I think I would give it only like 3.5, because I don't know, I feel like it wasn't really my favorite book. But basically it's about COVID, I guess. A breakout of COVID happens in 2020, and the main character, Diana, and her fiance, Finn, were planning to go to a trip to the Galapagos Islands, and Finn is a surgeon, so he ends up having to work because of the outbreak of COVID. So Diana has to go by herself, and it's a very descriptive story of her travels and everything with Galapagos Islands and the people that she meets. And I will just say it was a good book and it had a very good story and a theme to it, but my only critique with it is that it's too descriptive. Like, there is too much, like, you know, whenever you read a classical book, a classic, and it's just like description, description, description before you get to any dialogue. That's what I remember about this book. Even like listening to it, I was like, okay, get on with it. That's what I remember from it. So 3.5 stars. I do like Jodi Picoult though. I read 19 Minutes by her, which is an incredible book. 19 Minutes I gave 5 stars. So she's a great author, and I don't know, I guess this book just didn't really work with me. The second book that I finished is Magnolia Park's The Long Way Home. This is the third book in the MP universe, and I think I also started this one in December, so it was also a rollover book. I rated this one 4 stars. If you know anything about Magnolia Parks, it's an incredible series. There are Magnolia Parks books and then Daisy Hates books. I'll get into the Daisy Hates books soon, because I read a Daisy Hates book after Long Way Home. But this book was good. I can't go into it too far because I don't want to spoil the first Magnolia book, but great book. Then I read One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I have been getting more into thrillers and mysteries, and this book was very good. This is the first 5-star of 2024. It's basically about a group of students who all have detention together, and then one of the students has an allergic reaction. He like drinks a cup of water and he has a peanut allergy, so he passes out and then he ends up dying. So then the 4 other students, I think it's 4 people. Yeah, so then the 4 other students who were in there are being interrogated and investigated for the murder of him. So it was so good. You get all their point of views, and you're just thinking the whole time who did it. It was like so close to predicting who actually did it, but I didn't get all the way there. It was still so good. It's also a series, but I didn't read the second one because I don't think it connects at all. So it's just like a whole other storyline in the same universe, I guess. The next book that I read was an audiobook, and it's Daisy Jones and the Six by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This book was 5 stars, and it was so good. And I highly recommend the audiobook because the way that this book is formatted is kind of like a script, because you are given just like line by line kind of like people talking. They're being interviewed, the members of the band are being interviewed, but with the narration on the audiobook, you get like actual different people coming in and acting it out, and it was so entertaining to listen to. It's basically about oral history of one of the biggest bands of the 70s. There's also an Amazon series for it. I watched the first few episodes. I didn't finish it because I don't get too into shows, but the book, 5 stars. Then the next book that I read, it was actually a reread. I read this book, I think, for the first time in 2020. It's called Meant to Be by Lauren Morrill. It's about this girl named Julia. She's a high school student, and she's going on a field trip to London with her class. She's very type A. She cares about her grades, and she isn't really there to have fun, but she is paired up, like, with a buddy system. She's paired up with this guy named Jason, and he is, like, the class clown, so he, like, brings more fun to the activities that they do. And there's, like, this whole thing where they go to a party, and she meets a guy, and then they're texting and trying to, like, go throughout London. Jason's helping her to try to meet this guy and see if there's a romance. I don't remember what I rated this the first time I read it years ago, but I gave it a 3 stars this time. Not a bad book at all, and definitely, like, a quick, easy read, and just, you know, something for fun. A very fun read. Next I read If He Had Been With Me. And it's downstairs. So everybody probably knows what If He Had Been With Me is, but it's basically about a girl named Autumn and a boy named Finney. They grew up friends, and they might have liked each other a little bit, but then they got into, like, different friend groups in high school, and they didn't really talk a lot, but something happens. Something tragic happens. Every single person that I've ever heard talk about this book have said that they cried, and it was, like, the saddest book that I've ever read. But personally, it was lacking in sadness for me. I've read far sadder books. Like, this just wasn't it. If you want a good sad romantic read The Light We Lost by Jill Santopolo. That's a good one. This one, I didn't, like, the sad thing was all the way at the end, and I don't know. I gave it 4 stars. Probably would change it to 3 thinking about it. Yeah. There's a sequel out too. Sorry. This isn't the next audiobook that I listened to. The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas. This also turned into a movie. It's basically just about the struggles of Black people and abuse of police officers, and that kind of discrimination. The main character, Star, her friend is shot in front of her by a police officer. He was wrongfully accused of having a gun in his car, and he got shot. And she's dealing with that trauma and also trying to bring justice to the situation. It's a very good read. I gave it 4 stars. Next was another audiobook, actually, and it's Beach Read by Emily Henry. So, this is a 5-star book for me. It's about a author. Her name is January Andrews. Her father passed away and left her a lake house, and she goes there to try to write her next book, and her next door neighbor is another author. His name's Augustus Everett, and they actually knew each other in college, and they kind of work together with what they're writing for their next novel, and just go on, like, little excursions together and stuff. It was very good. I do not have good experience with Emily Henry novels, The first Emily Henry novel that I tried to read was Book Lovers, and I DNF'd it because I couldn't get through it. This one, though, was very good. I feel like Book Lovers is a little bit boring. This beach read was so good. And this isn't one that I was going to talk about because I haven't finished it yet, but I'm currently listening to The People We Meet on Vacation. That one's also very good. So I would, for sure, 100% recommend those two over Book Lovers. Just saying. The next book that I finished is Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. So this is book number 4 in the Magnolia Parks series, and I gave this one 5 stars. It was so good. I'm not really going to go into what it is about because I don't want to spoil anything, but definitely look up Magnolia Parks. Get the first book, read it, the first Daisy Hates book. Read Magnolia Parks, The Long Way Home, and then read Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. It's a 5-star book, and I can't tell you why, but you will understand why. The next book that I finished was a library book, so I also don't have the physical copy to hold it up. But it's The Coworker by Frida McFadden, and it was pretty good. What did I rate it on here? It's about a girl, her name's Natalie. She goes into work one day, and her coworker, who's always on time, wasn't there, and her phone rings, and it's just like someone breathing, and I think she says, "Help me." And Natalie goes to her house to see if she's okay. And then Natalie ends up getting into, like, the whole mystery of, like, what happened to Dawn, the coworker. I rated this 3 stars. It was very good. It's so quick-paced. I read it in 2 days, I think. And, I don't know. I'm a thriller fan. If you can write a good thriller, I'll read it. I still think 3 stars is pretty good. This was very good. I think the reason why I rated it 3 stars was because the ending wasn't, like, as climatic as I wanted it to be, but it was still, like, so fun to read. So those are all of the books that I've finished in 2024, but Miss Jessa Hastings, the author of Magnolia Parks, came out with Magnolia Parks Into the Dark, which is book number 5 of the Magnolia Parks universe, and I'm currently reading it. I'm on page 462. I've been annotating it, and I love it so much, and it might be a 5-star read. So I'll keep you guys updated. I hope you all like this video. If you would want me to do more book-related videos, please let me know, because obviously I love books. I love reading. This is just one stack of, well, behind this stack is another stack of books. There's stacks of books throughout my whole room, but I'm not going to show you because it's a complete mess. I love books. I love reading. I love talking about books. I love making friends too. So if you want to message me on Instagram or comment here, please go ahead. I'd love to talk to you about books or about life or anything. So please like the video and subscribe if you like it and if you enjoyed it. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bye.